So when you get granted service connection or you get granted an increase for one of your disabilities, the VA assigns what's called a effective date to that claim. Essentially, in simple terms, an effective date is the date that the VA is going to pay your new rate back till. So it's very important that this date is correct. If it's not, you're missing out on some money, sometimes significant amount of money. So today we're going to talk about the most common effective date errors I see in my practice and what you could do to fix them. So let's get into it. Before we talk about what these errors are, let's first talk about what the general rules are of the VA assigning effective dates. And guys, if you don't know what your effective date is, generally it's on your rating decision, usually on that cover page or in the decision itself. And I'll put a sample rating decision up here on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But anyways, the general rule are the VA will pay you back to whenever you open that claim using VA Form 21-526EZ, or if you've been denied more than a year ago, the general rules, they'll pay you back to when you filed the supplemental claim or reopen the case. However, there are a ton of exceptions. We're not going to be able to talk about all the exceptions in this video, but we're going to talk about the most common one. So the first most common one I see is the VA doesn't pay you back to the intent to file. So this is an exception to the effective date rule. Generally, you get paid back to when you file that 526EZ or the 0995. But there's a device you could use called the intent to file. What this does, it basically puts the VA on notice, hey, I plan on reopening this case. I plan on asking for an increase, or I plan on asking for service connection. I just need a little bit of time to get my evidence together. To file the intent to file, you're going to use VA Form 21-0966. Very simple form to fill out, guys. You don't even have to put on there what you're applying for. It's just simply say compensation. What the VA does is they give you 1 year from the filing of that VA Form 21-0966 to file what they call your formal claim. So your formal claim will be the 526EZ if you've never filed for this before, or you're asking for an increase, or the VA Form 0995, a supplemental claim if you've been denied more than a year ago. So if you get those forms in within 1 year of filing that intent to file, your effective date will go back to when you filed the intent to file and not when you filed the formal claim. If you file intent to file January 1st, 2022, and it takes, let's say, until June 1st, 2022 to file that 526EZ, the VA should pay you all the way back to January and not June. However, many times they don't see that you filed that intent to file, and they only pay you back to the formal claim and not the intent to file. In the scenario I just described, you just missed out on 6 months back pay. So check those rating decisions, guys. Make sure the VA assigned the correct effective date if you indeed filed that intent to file. If they did not assign the correct date, if they did not assign the date you filed that intent to file and you filed the formal claim with 1 year, pretty simple to fix. You're just going to ask for a higher level review, and that's using VA Form 20-0996. Just point out to the higher level reviewer, hey, I filed an intent to file on this date, and that should be the end of it. If not, always happy to set up a consultation with you guys to see where we could go from here. All right, the next most common error I see is you have continuously pursued a claim, but the VA only pays you back to the date you filed the supplemental appeal. Let me give you a little example so you understand this scenario. Say you filed a claim, we'll use that January 1st, 2022 date again. You file your 526EZ, you ask for service connection for sleep apnea, April 1st of 2022, you're denied service connection for sleep apnea. You think you could get some additional evidence. So in June of 2022, you submit some buddy statements and your supplemental appeal, VA Form 20-0995. Service connections granted. The VA pays you back the day you filed that supplemental claim. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, that's what they're going to do. However, since you filed that supplemental claim within 1 year of being denied your original denial, then you should get paid back to whenever you started the claim, which was January of 2022. So again, you're missing out on months of back pay here, guys. And I'm telling you, this one is so common. It happens in probably 95% of my cases. Don't get screwed. Make sure you check that effective date. And guys, this one, again, you shouldn't have to appeal, but unfortunately you do. Again, I recommend filing for a higher level review. No new evidence can be submitted during higher level review. You're just pointing out the fact that you had continuously prosecuted this claim since January, and therefore you should get paid back to January. Now, guys, if you filed a supplemental claim more than 1 year after your original denial, then the VA is going to assign and correctly assign the effective date you filed that supplemental appeal. So supplemental appeal filed within 1 year of denial goes back to whenever you started the claim. Filed more than 1 year ago, it just goes back to the day you filed the supplemental appeal. Make sense? Number 3, PACT Act effective dates. So this is another exception to the general rule of effective dates. The PACT Act has a special effective date rules. So if you filed a PACT Act claim before August 9th of 2023 and that claim was granted because of the PACT Act, the VA is going to get you an extra year of back pay. So they should pay you back to August 10th of 2022. So it's a full extra year of back pay there. Only if you got your intent to file or your 526EZ in by August 9th does this rule apply to you. But I have seen the VA mess this up almost every single time. Take a look at those effective dates, guys. Again, higher level review is the best option here. Just point out the fact, hey, I got my PACT Act claim in by August 9th. It was granted due to the PACT Act. Give me my extra year of back pay. Number 4, the VA didn't assign the effective date going back to the day after discharge. If you guys didn't know, if you get your VA claim within 1 year of your discharge, the VA will pay you back all the way to the day after discharge. Again, they miss this a lot. So pay attention, guys. If you left the military on May 1st, 2022, and you got that claim in by April 1st, 2023, then they should pay you all the way back to May 2nd of 2022, the day you left service. Again, higher level review, the best tool here to fix that option. Just point out to the higher level reviewer, hey, I got out of the service this date. I applied within 1 year on this date. I should go all the way back. If the higher level reviewer knows anything, they should pay you back to the day after discharge. All right, number 5, the effective date applied to your unemployability claim. So guys, if you've been granted unemployability, I almost guarantee the VA messed up the effective date. In their defense, the effective date rules for unemployability are extremely complicated, very legally complex. Here's the advice I'll tell you. If the VA granted you unemployability, but only granted it back to the day you filed VA Form 8940, which is the application for unemployability, or they only paid it back to the date you had your unemployability exam, there's a problem. Almost certainly there's an issue. I would need a whole video to explain all the rules of unemployability, and it still would probably make your head spin. It makes my head spin as a lawyer. My suggestion is this. If you're granted unemployability and you think the effective date's wrong because of those two reasons I just described, they only paid you back to the day of the application and the day of the exam, go see an experienced VA attorney. They should be able to review your case without putting down any money and let you know if you have a case to get that effective date pushed back. When it comes to unemployability, I mean, that could be huge. That's extra. The difference between 90% and 100% is over $1,000. So, you know, that could range into the thousands of dollars you're missing here. Just don't let the VA get away with taking your money. Fight back, get what you deserve. Well, that does it, guys. I hope this was helpful. As always, happy to answer questions. Feel free to set up a consultation with me. And as always, you have the power to change your VA claim. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep subscribing, keep liking, and I'll see you next time.